The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Looks like I have two big sex reunions today. That is whack.
I know that this is my destiny. I was at my lowest, he saw the best of me. All of my doubts are the rest in peace. Buried them deep, then I let God come work with the rest of me. Yes, I am blessed, never stress, disconnect from all my demons. They can never get the best of me. Truly blessed to be a...
Welcome back, everyone, to Nomadic Reviews. I'm listening to myself in the other audio, and I'm very, very pissed off as we're looking at Helluva Boss today.
Oh, shit!
You know, there are gonna be moments of unhinged me for this, because I feel like it kind of fits having a duality process when talking about hell, but I'm gonna also have me, the adult, the non-unhinged characterization of myself, talk to you guys. So let's actually dive into the plot synopsis and proceed from there.
Oh, I get it. They painted me out to be the bad guy. Well, it's the last time you're gonna see a bad guy do the rap game like me.
The plot synopsis is just like what we talked about in the pilot, I believe, way back in the day.
I'm waiting, old man.
God, I was such a baby-faced man back in those days. Imp is a contracted group of individuals in Hell, in Imp City, who are paid by people in Hell to assassinate humans because of insert reasons here.
Okay. Oh yeah, right there.
I told you, we're not gonna use things.
Right there. Oh yeah, right there.
Oh shit, sweetie, what are you doing here?
Shut up, Gerald! You scream like a bitch. Oh dear God, what have I done?
And they also have the team of Imp just go through wacky adventures because it's an office comedy. Everything has an interconnecting nature to it from episode by episode about uncovering the characters that we know and love today, whether it's Blitz, the O is silent, Moxie, Millie, or Luna. Sometimes Luna. Not all the time Luna. Even though it has my voice acting crush voice acting as Luna. I digress. Each plot is supposed to be on its best behavior for what we're looking for, but here's my first gripe. This is, well, for me, it's not funny.
Audible gasp.
I mean, each plot's supposed to be a witty repartee for Imp to just go the extra mile to prove why they are not supposed to be underestimated as the underdog, or having Stolas have an incredible moment with his daughter. God, that makes me feel something as a father myself. But here's my whole takeaway, which is the comedy aspects from each plot don't really convey the strongest because it's been done to an obscene degree in everything media-based for years. I mean, I would love to just bother every editor I've ever known to just do the basics upon basics, but I'm not going to have my editors do a montage of similar things that have been done. And it becomes tiresome. It becomes boring. Just trying to sift through the same humor you've seen and heard and witnessed 1,000 times. Like, that's just me, though. I know many people love this whole thing and eat it up, but that's just me. The characters are a mixed bag. Like many of you, I have a few that are my favorite. Octavia, because we've all been there. If you've been a part of a family where it was broken up because of a mom and dad that hated each other. Moxie and Millie are just relationship goals in the worst location known to man. And Stolas... Well, Stolas is Stolas. He's just lovable at times. A little bit on the hectic side, but, you know, It's, I don't know, like, even just how a lot of them are written, like, Luna and Blitz's whole connection for the plots, whether it's just minor, inconvenient, or they're focal because of stuff that you find out in season 2. I have issues with that, not for the reasons you think. As it stands, I've seen a lot of things develop thanks to Brandon Rogers, where he's made a lot of memorable characters on his YouTube channel of comedy. And a lot of them work, a lot of them don't, because of the humor he's presented and how he's been developing his comedic timing and whatnot for years to also tell a coherent story. And before we get into the other top of what I mean by this, is that the way each character is still handled is not the strongest, no matter how many other reviewers I talk to or I listen to. It just doesn't convey the strongest amount of stuff because it doesn't really lead into anything that's nuanced that you can't get in something a little bit better polished. Which leads into...
Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna say this as nicely as I possibly can, so that no one can try and hit up the comment section trying to say the most outlandishly negative thing. Vivzie is not the best character writer.
Wow, you just made my shit list!
Vivzie's strengths come into play with musicals, and with honestly helping with the animation team make fluidity possible. As a writer, for a lot of things, even with Brandon as her co-writer, these episodic things and even standalone episode stuff can feel a little dull. They can feel very lackluster. And it's probably best conveyed the way it does because with an animation mean, you can forgive it for having its shortcomings because you're allowing yourself to just be mesmerized by the beauty that's being presented or the great animated camera work at play with stuff that's happening. But when you strip that away to just kind of listen to things, you're not really given something that is particularly strong, well handled, or even smartly based. You're given something that is a little bit dull. Even episodes where it's like Blitz and Moxie having a heart-to-heart don't feel as genuine as they're supposed to because it's boring. You don't really get anything new out of it that you can't get from anything else that Richard Horowitz himself has done in other properties, whether he was in Dave the Barbarian, Angry Beavers, or in Invader Zim. You don't get anything new from this, nor do you get anything from characters that should be standout to break the mold that came before. And that's a problem. Is it a problem that's going to be noticed by fans and other critics? No, and I've accepted this. But what does Unhinged Me have to say about a few other things?
Animation is a given. This is a beautifully drawn animated series. This is beautifully drawn, a lot of great details that could be on any network across the globe. It could have been on Adult Swim, could have been on HBO, could have been on Showtime, could have been on Comedy Central, could have been on TBS. That's a given. When you are a graduate from one of the best animation schools, that is not a question. That is just something that is expected of a graduate that can actually carry the lessons that they were given. The only thing I will say about the music is that it is truly written by a theater kid. And to many people that sounds like an insult, but in actuality that just goes to show that you have the best people that know exactly what you're trying to do. Because theater kids know exactly how to carry a tune. Does the name Star Kid ring a bell? Each song does carry its own levity and its own graces that should be probably sold to a higher degree on iTunes or on the Google Music Store or anything else to sell out a better soundtrack of more original pieces and whatnot. But that's neither here nor there, where I'm at least acknowledging the good bits of what is coming from this whole production.
I got dumb bitch-itis.
As it stands with Helluva Boss, where I'm only focusing on Season 1. Elements of Season 2, stricken from the record. This is my whole thing. I would love to give this whole thing a glowing review. I would love to, because I love the pilot. It established things in a better capacity than Vivzie herself did for Hazbin Hotel. I'm not gonna lie. This was presented a lot better than Hazbin ever has and probably ever will. But now, because of other animated productions I've seen that don't have the same elements provided, like Bloody Butcher / The Blood Butcher, Lackadaisy, Cosmic Wonder, Coffee with Honey, a lot of these tell a more coherent story that I personally can gravitate to in a better capacity than other things, but this is just not a solid tale. Blitz and his team at Imp do work for a certain audience, but it's not for the mature audiences advised category. This is for people that want to let out their inner teenager to have the whole because it's about demons and then hell and dick jokes. Because it's supposed to be the overall selling point about what you're looking into, what you're trying to dive into, to then also have escapism about maybe some internal conflicts that you have because you want to see yourselves in characters that are basically walking jokes. And I'm sorry, y'all. Coming from an era of animation and even companies I've worked with, this is not a strong basis for a show for me. And it's why my overall review is this. Taking away the pilot, which still has a glowing review from me and a glowing endorsement to even attempt to watch this, I personally, on my own enjoyment and all the other categories I didn't go into today, I'm gonna give this entire thing a 6.2 out of 13. I'm gonna give it 4.2 out of 7 stars, and I'm giving this a D+. It's not the worst thing I've seen in my entire life. Trust me, I've seen many things that are terrible and god-awful. But this is not a great franchise, nor is this something that is as polished as it claims to be, because it definitely needs to still be in the let's chop it up, work it out, and be better stage. Will it do it? No. No, I know it probably won't, because it's flowing on the trajectory about what the viewing audience's attention span as a Nielsen family rating itself goes into play, and I understand this. I'm just throwing out my 2 cents since, I don't know, after doing this for 20 plus years, I want people to do better. So, Viv, if you ever watch this, I just want you to do better. I'm not hating on your success. I'm not hating on your team. I just personally want you guys to do better. Because this... Hey, boy!
Boy, you crazy!